What's up? It's Alexander Madison, running back from the Minnesota Vikings, and you're watching Clock Management.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. It's October 31st, 2019, Halloween night. I'm Justin, and this time I'm not joined by Perry. I got the RumBoyz over here. You want to introduce yourself, man, and tell us a little bit about you guys?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Admiral of the RumBoyz Fantasy Network. Thank you guys for having me, Clock Management. Greatly appreciate that. Shout out to Perry. It stinks that you're not here, brother. Because I was hoping I was going to get to meet both of you guys, but nonetheless, we are going to rock this show out in your honor.
I appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys follow RumBoyz on Twitter, all social medias, man. Check out their YouTube. You can catch them everywhere. They're multifaceted. That's what I love about your guys' show is, like, I was just telling you about how you guys cover every sport. Like, that's insane to me to do. Football alone is exhausting for me. I need this off season.
Yeah, I understand that. Unfortunately, I don't know what an off season feels like, but I know that I love the feeling of being an analyst and providing information for you guys. If you have the knowledge, you might as well share it, right?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I heard you talking about getting into hockey. I don't know when you're gonna squeeze that in. You're gonna have to stop sleeping at some point.
I barely do. Anyways, you know, we could thank the United States military.
Yeah, right. You don't need sleep. It's a crutch.
No.
But yeah, well, before I get into Thursday night football game, you guys could catch us also Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, everywhere where you got your podcasts. Go ahead and catch Clock Management. Make sure you subscribe to us. I mean, obviously, you guys see Perry's not here. He had to take a little business trip to California. He said to give his regards to everyone. Sorry he can't be here. And we just had that awesome Thursday night game. Now, I was following your guys' live stream on YouTube. That was pretty awesome. How about that clock management, though, at the end of that game?
Full pun intended. I could not believe it was sketchy both ways. So the 49ers marched down the field, and they pretty much blew all their timeouts. Then Cliff Kingsbury decides that he wanted to go ahead and throw out the red challenge flag.
Oh, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I felt that he should have. Being that it did appear that the back was out of the backfield or was all sides. And Tevin Coleman was the ball carrier. He literally did go out at the anywhere between the 8 to 9 yard line.
Yeah.
But of course, when you have Alberto Riveron running this wonderful thing that we love to call the NFL, who knows what can happen with the officiating? They ended up giving it to him.
It's so hard to get those calls overturned, though. Like,
yes,
that's the problem in the NFL. Like, trying to get a call overturned is, you know, I can't think of anything harder than that in life.
There's steps, you know, there's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah, and so I mean, I was just surprised just because it was so close, and they only had the 2 timeouts left. So if they had kept the 2 timeouts, 2-minute warning, they had a chance to get the ball back. And they just really limited themselves after that. So that's why I was surprised by him. Like, man. And even if he was out, they still had another down to get the first.
Hashtag clock management, brother.
All right. But yeah, so also I forgot to mention it's it's going to be our Friday show. It's our Thursday night show. We always have a drink. So in honor of the RumBoyz, I got a rum and Coke over here. Captain Morgan, of course.
If I did not polish off last night's bottle of rum, I would definitely be enjoying a mixed drink and a couple of shots with you. But we recently dealt with a snowstorm, and I got snowed in, so I have Corona here with you.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, I saw that during your live stream. I was like, okay, he's right on par with me. All right, we're good.
Oh yeah. Right. We're gonna rock out, bro. We're gonna have a good show.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. So I wanted to get into some of the news on some players. Normally Perry covers this, so I'm gonna do my best to not embarrass myself here because I didn't. And I was ready for him to do it, and I wasn't, so I didn't prepare that much for it. So I got some news up here. We got Westbrook. He was limited in practice with a neck and shoulder injury. Do you think? What do you think about him in Jacksonville this week?
So with Jacksonville, Westbrook is in your deeper leagues. That's a guy that you can go ahead and start. We are awaiting to see what the full injury report will be. We're not going to know that prior to maybe Saturday night when we're going over starts and sits. Before, of course, we have to go over starts and sits, Saturday night because we have an early morning game in London, which is where Jacksonville will be traveling.
Yeah, I think that makes it a lot rougher for Dede.
It does. With that being said, because of those reasons, at the given moment, now of course this is the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. Something can change at any given moment. That's why it's important that you guys follow Clock Management on Twitter. Maybe you give us a follow on Twitter at RumBoyz, spelled the ZNET, because we're going to be staying up to date with these things. With that being said, for now, I'm saying let's hold off on DD. Okay.
Yeah. I do like him going forward just because with Foles coming back, Foles was in love with Dede Westbrook. So I'm hoping that connection continues once he's back.
Hey, I came into the season very high on Dede. Do you love me?
Yeah, as did I.
It doesn't seem this year it's going that way since Minshew Mania has stepped up under center. With Garner Minshew, of course, you're looking at targets like DJ Shark, Chris Conley, the veteran wide receiver, former Kansas City Chief. And I would say that those two would be guys that you can go ahead and go and grab fairly easily. Conley is he's definitely underneath the 60% owned mark. So maybe if you're looking for a play in place of DD and you want to stay on the same offense in terms of Jacksonville, you roll with the homie Conley.
Yeah, I love Conley. Like you said, he's super undervalued in a lot of leagues especially in deeper leagues. Like you could get him almost free and he can contribute immediately. During the Thursday night game, George Kittle, he got sidelined at the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yes.
He got hit earlier in the game. I don't know if that's what caused it. Helmet to the knee. That appeared to hurt him, but then he came back and played for a while before that happened. So that was kind of odd.
But was playing through a lot of pain, a lot of tension. You constantly saw him, reaching for the knee. We're unaware of what that injury could be at this given moment. It does look like it could be a lot worse than what Kittle was trying to play off.
Yeah, it does make me think that it's not super serious. That the fact that he was able to play through the pain makes me, obviously not like a torn ACL, something like that's going to end his season. But yeah, he appeared to be in pain, and it's just something. I mean, obviously next week, because they already played this week, you can monitor, and he's got plenty of time to get healthy by that game.
100%. I agree with that take. He has plenty of time. I mean, all we can do though is just wait and see. All he can do is just hit that rice treatment, rest, ice, compress and elevate, and hope for the best.
Yeah, this next one, this has been killing me for 3 weeks now. Chris Herndon from the Jets. I've picked him up and dropped him Sunday morning, picked him up for the waivers and dropped him Sunday morning 3 weeks in a row now. He this hamstring injury, it just stays with him.
I think that it's the fact that he's a New York Jet. Whenever you're playing for the Jets, do I really want to go out there when we've only won one game? And I think that maybe that plays into it a little bit. I was hoping that we would have gotten to see pieces of Chris Herndon. It doesn't appear that between the suspension and now this hamstring that we're going to see him at any point and any time soon.
Yeah, it's frustrating because he's a good tight end, and in a year where the tight end's so thin, Like he could be that player that wins you, like, and you pick him up and he helps you win a championship. It's if he ever gets on that field.
No, I 100% agree. Monitor that one very, very closely, ladies and gentlemen. Have your notifications set on either of these podcasts. And whenever that news breaks, I'm sure that you guys will know when it's time to go and grab them. Yeah. But for now, I say we hold off. There's no need to roster them at the moment.
And I mean, this one obviously isn't relevant to this week specifically, but David Johnson didn't play tonight. I'm not sure when the last time he really played was at this point. It's been a few weeks at this now, like where he actually played.
Yeah.
I feel like Arizona isn't giving the full details on his injury. It reminds me of like Todd Gurley from last year. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, Todd Gurley's fine. He should be back any game now. Oh, he'll be back next week. And he never came back.
No, I can definitely see that perspective. He is a watch close fantasy player because you definitely need a guy of DJ's caliber if you're looking to really make that playoff push. And right now, if you're a David Johnson owner and you were, making a good run, you're probably maybe sitting 5-3 right now, maybe even 4-4. And you're probably wondering like when DJ is coming back. And maybe that's why you've had a couple of the losses recently. Hopefully you have running back depth. And if not, Kenyan Drake is probably still available out there in leagues. Of course, you wouldn't be able to play him this week because he just played tonight. But start planning and game planning for that backfield to continue to be dealing with ailments.
Yeah. The thing that worried me most was that they traded for Kenyan Drake. Like they signed those other running backs. They signed 2 running backs that were free agents. That wasn't
Center and Morris.
Yeah, that wasn't as scary to me because it's like they had multiple injuries at running back, so they needed that depth. But then when they went out and traded and gave up, what was it, a 2nd round pick for Kenyan Drake? It was like that's what scared me because that's more of a long-term move.
Yeah, no, that's definitely more of a long-term move, which makes me wonder heading into the offseason, what are you going to do with David Johnson? What are you going to do with Chase Edmunds? Are you going to keep the 2 and then maybe, you treat this how my team, the Washington Redskins, last year, we treated Clinton Dix. You're going to come through halfway through the season. You'll perform for us for the second half of the season. Then after that, you're gone. And maybe that could be the case with Kenyan Drake.
Yeah. The only thing is, so for fantasy this year, if DJ comes back, it does I'm afraid he won't be the caliber you need. You need him to be in the playoffs because now there is another back there to be splitting carries with. And that's brutal.
That is it would force a once running back dominant, a single back dominant backfield to be forced to go into running back committee. How much that affects DJ, we don't know yet. But I me personally, I don't have any shares of David Johnson because I've been burned by David Johnson in regards to injuries before, so I stayed away from that. But if he does come back for you, you're going to have to play him irregardless just because he is David Johnson.
That's true. I got 3 more players I want to get into on here with regards to this with news on them and injuries, really. Davante Adams, he's still dealing with his turf toe. He practiced today, they said, during the media time with all the other wide receivers, did every drill they did. That's great news. What do you think he plays this week, though?
I do think he plays. I think that it's about time that he steps out on the field. He went for a full practice like you had previously just mentioned. And for that and with that provides me confidence, especially because he has been practicing in the previous weeks and just kind of been like laying off of him. Like, hey, we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. And I think that was more so of a leadership decision by the Packers to hold off on Davante Adams. Yeah. I think he could have came back earlier. It sounds like he's ready to go now. When you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers back there under center, when you got, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Geronimo Allison Lazard's, doing his thing. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams catching passes out the backfield like they play receiver and not running back. yeah, you can afford to hold off on Davante Adams, but I think that he's back now.
Yeah, I mean, they showed that they didn't necessarily need him there that week when all three wide receivers were injured, and
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers scored 5 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is facts.
So that's amazing, and we have a doctor that we bring on our show occasionally. So we get that's awesome because we get to talk to him about injuries and stuff. And turf toe sounds corny and cheesy, like it's you
It hurts.
Yeah, it's like a legit injury where that can it can end your career if you try and play through it and mess up how your big toe heals.
Yep, been there, done that. You need your big toe in order to have balance.
Yeah. That's brutal. But next we got Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone out there knows Patrick Mahomes has been injured. I don't need to get into that, but he's been practicing. They said he might play last week. I didn't think that was a possibility, but they said that they thought he might. I think that's more to make the opposite defense have to game plan in case he did. But this week, I think he's playing.
Yeah, I think he is playing. I don't agree with the decision.
No, I don't either.
I'm not okay with it. You're playing against a Minnesota Vikings defense. Corners like Xavier Rhodes out there. You got a safety, a hard-hitting safety, who I feel is the hardest-hitting safety in the league, and Harrison Smith. Everson Griffin up there on that front line. This is not a position that I feel that you should be going out there as an organization starting Patrick Mahomes. But for everyone out there in fantasy land, if the kid is stepping up under center, you're starting him. But me personally, my wife, we're in a league and she has Patrick Mahomes. I told her, I'm like, if you have someone else, go get that someone else. Playing Kirk Cousins opposite in this game, would it be a bad thing? Because the Chiefs have zero defense.
Yeah.
So
Kirk Cousins is capable of having gigantic games. He's shown that. So if in a shootout, he's fully capable.
Exactly. So I mean, there's a number of different quarterbacks that you can run with, or maybe you already have one on your roster. If you're in that situation with Mahomes,
if you're the Mahomes owner, you should have another quarterback because you've been playing him.
Exactly. But if you do not have another one, then yeah, sure, go out there and ride off into the sunset with Mahomes, and I wish you the best. But hopefully you have someone else.
I've been preaching for the last 2 weeks to trade Mahomes this week. Wait until this week when he's getting ready to return and trade him.
Yep, trade him.
They have a horrible fantasy playoff schedule. And then with the injury, there's a chance of re-injury. There's a lot of risk here. So I don't want to take that risk. I'd love to. And there's a league I traded him for recently for Lamar Jackson, and I forgot who else I got. I got someone else along with Lamar Jackson. So
beautiful. With Patrick Mahomes, I would probably maybe you go out on the waiver wire and you look at all the different schedules. If you see a guy like Josh Allen out there, maybe you go ahead and waiver wire QB and see about getting a receiver and a running back for Mahomes. Try and see if you get some skill position players to replace them. And maybe you just go fringe at the quarterback position and see how far along that could take you.
Yeah, I completely agree. Last guy that I'm gonna go through for injuries and that type of stuff. We got Keenan Allen. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. I was huge on Keenan Allen coming into the season. I still like him, but he's been destroying me in fantasy.
Yeah, Keenan Allen recently tweeted last week that this week he is going to take care of everyone out there in fantasy land. I don't know how much of that I believe. Usually when a player tweets something like that,
yeah, Jarvis Landry guaranteed a win against the Patriots last week. So,
and we saw how that turned out. So with Keenan Allen, I'm going to go ahead and go with the take of trade, and see what you can get. If Cortland Sutton, DJ Shark, guys are guys that are in that middle of the pack but are really producing and putting up numbers. Of course, Keenan Allen, he's a higher level than those two that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But maybe trying to see if you can go ahead, you sell low. Hey, let me go ahead and get your wide receiver 2 off you, buddy. And you try and sell low, and then boom, you're back into position. You got a guy that's putting up numbers, consistent numbers. He may not be a big of a name as Keenan Allen, Davante Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, so on and so forth, those top tier receivers. But there you go, exactly.
Yeah, I'm huge on Cortland Sutton. I've been preaching him all year long. And with Emmanuel Sanders leaving there, he is their guy now.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. My only fear is you got Joe Flacco going down with the injury. It's supposed to be, I think it's out 6 weeks. And so I haven't really gotten into that to see and do my analysis on how I think that's going to affect him. I feel like
he's going to get force fed a whole lot more. And when a player is getting force fed, I'm okay with it, especially in a PPR format. If the ball's just going to be constantly, dink and duck, a couple yards here and there, moving the chains every 10, I'm with it.
That was DeAndre Hopkins a few years ago. It didn't matter if he is in double, triple coverage, they're throwing the ball to him. It doesn't matter. The play says the ball goes there.
Yep. So I think that can happen. That can very well happen in this scenario with Keenan.
Okay, cool. So, Sutton.
I'm sorry, with Sutton.
Sutton. Yeah. Shoot, where did I type this up? I messed myself up here. Oh, I know why. I deleted it. So I was gonna. So we got a segment that we do news no one cares about. I don't know if you saw that on our previous episodes. Okay, yeah. So this week, it's gonna be a little bit different because it's Halloween. What? So for the news no one cares about, I went and got I'm going to be putting up pictures on here during the video, and have you seen all the costumes that the players had?
I have not seen all the costumes. I saw DeAndre Hopkins genie one, and they showed a little bit of a clip of it today during the during the game.
Oh, I missed that part. I must have been dealing with some trick-or-treaters.
I think you were actually.
Okay. But yeah, that's actually my first one. You got DeAndre Hopkins with his genie. He pulled that off well. That's a legit costume.
I don't even feel like that was a costume. That was like cosplay.
Right? Like that looked like it cost money.
Yeah.
I got Tom Brady on here twice, actually. Tom Brady dressed up as a stormtrooper early in the day. Which I found ironic because stormtroopers can't hit anything, and Tom Brady seems to not miss a pass.
Exactly, I agree.
Oh my God, this one was awesome. The Detroit Lions punter, Sam Martin, and his I think it's wife or girlfriend, Olympic gymnast Natasha, some name that I can't pronounce.
Yeah,
they dressed up as each other for Halloween.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
He's got on a full gymnast suit, skimpy outfit. That's classic. Oh, God. All right.
I did not catch that one, but that sounds hilarious.
Yeah, I'll be putting pictures up with each one of these, so you'll be able to see them here. Houston Texans linebackers, Jacob Martin, Brennan Charlotte, Barcavius Mingo, and Whitney Merciless dressed up as the rock band Kiss.
Dude, that is sick. That is epic. I wonder how many youngsters out there were incredibly confused when they saw that.
Right. They're like, who are these? What superheroes are those?
They probably did think they were superheroes, like villains or something. No in this generation.
Yeah,
I couldn't find it on Twitter anywhere.
I'm a huge superhero nerd. And
Same.
Do you know Lobo? From DC Comics. He looks like a member of Kiss.
Oh my gosh!
I dressed up as him one year because I'm a huge comic book nerd, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. But we went out to a bunch of bars, and everyone's like, "Are you Kiss?" I'm like, "Damn it! No, I'm not. I'm not from Kiss."
No, Yeah, dude. You have to send me pictures on that one. Hit me on the DM with that one.
I will. I got pictures of it. I'm not buff enough to pull it off anyway, but I tried.
Hey, it's okay. I padded up fake muscles today and dressed up as Deadpool during my stream with ESPN LA, so it was dope.
Nice. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson dressed up as Harry Potter.
Yeah, that was epic. I saw that one. I did catch the Harry Potter. That was dope. I think the caption was "You're a quarterback, Lamar," or something like that. It was great. It was great. So he's not a running back, guys.
Yeah. Just in case you're confused, which I was at the beginning of the season. I'm like, I know he's a great running back. I just hope he can be a quarterback. Luckily, I had faith enough to draft him, though.
Yep, and he's proven us wrong. Shout out to Yahoo Sports. I apologize about my debate earlier during the off season. You're right. I'm wrong. I said that Lamar Jackson was not going to end as QB1 this year in fantasy. It looks like he may end up as QB1 overall in fantasy.
Yeah, he's the only quarterback that I think has a chance of catching him is Russell Wilson.
Yep, Russell Wilson. Yeah. So I have no problems admitting when I did not get something correct, but it was an interesting argument. It did not age.
Speaking of Russell Wilson, he's next on my list.
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah, Russell Wilson and Sierra. That is a legit costume too. They pulled that off nice.
Yeah. They're not only is it a costume, I mean they are the sports world couple of what Jay-Z and Beyonce are. They're a power couple. So I love they did that because it just smashed up so well with their personas and who they are. Everything that you see from the Dangerous podcast to every time he's posted about him and his wife on Instagram. That was a perfect costume for them. I couldn't be more happy to see them two dress up as Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I'm a diehard 49er fan, and I love Russell Wilson. So, I mean, that says a lot about him. And then to pull off the costume, too, speaking of power couples, they got Obama and Michelle behind them in a picture. To make the costume complete. That's classic.
They invested money in that costume photo shoot for sure.
Yeah, and then back to Tom Brady. I told you he made the list twice. He later posted a picture. His costume's not important, but he put a jersey of Peyton Manning on a skeleton in his front yard.
Oh, that is vicious,
right?
And earlier in the year, everyone was like, "Oh no, look, they're friends. They're friends. They get along." That's a good troll joke. That's a good joke. That's a good friend joke.
I saw that. I'm like, man, Tom Brady is getting bold this season. Did you see our news? No one cares about last week, maybe last episode, when I was talking about he did the cameo on the show where he came out of the same massage parlor that Robert Kraft got busted in. Oh my God! But I'm like, he's bold this season.
He has no cares in the world, which further makes me think that this could probably be the year that he retires. A lot of signs point to retirement or a new team. I think that
I can't see him going to another team. I don't think he wants to tarnish his legacy. Yeah,
I think that he's seeing all the new guys come up in the ranks, and he's like, my time has been. I've done everything. I got 6 rings. I'm about to get number 7. I'm cool.
I mean, unless my 49ers got something to say about that.
I like that. We will see what happens.
Yeah, I hope so. This one thing I have a hard time with is it's rare for me, at least in the last decade, that the 49ers have been good. So trying to take, I can separate fantasy-wise, how good players are. I'm not overreacting to when, Jimmy. I'm not going to tell anyone go grab Jimmy G. That's just not a smart move. But when we're talking about teams and how well we think they're going to do, I feel like if the 49ers are doing good, I can't not tell you, oh yeah, they're not going to be winning the Super Bowl. I got to go with them.
Yeah, no, you got to rock with that. If my team was doing good, which we haven't done in the last 28 years, I would proudly be like, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. Let's get the Super Bowl. It's not happening.
It's rough. I live in Seattle, so it's always rough as a 49er fan.
It is rough for you, man.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's all the news no one cares about, though. Yeah, so we're gonna get into our show notes, like
Yeah.
what we're gonna be talking about. We got some start sits I put up here, and I tried to go with some players that are ranked about the same for weekly projections for this week, as much as those are worth, and then kind of talk through them a little bit. And these, I feel like some of these players are players people might be deciding between. Like the first one, I got two QBs that, let's say your QB's on a bye week, or you're in a situation where your QB is injured or whatever, got benched this week, because there were a few of those. But so you got Trubisky and Winston. Which one you start? Which one you sit?
I am never going to advise anyone to pick up Trubisky, so I am going to lean towards give me those crab legs, Winston.
Yeah.
Jameis, like I said on my show earlier today, and I think I even reiterated while you were watching on the live stream of the play-by-play. Winston is one of those guys to where that first half, that maybe not even first half, first quarter, he's just going to go out there and turn the ball over. His name is McDonald's for like the first quarter, and it's just apple turnover after apple turnover. He may throw a pick. He may throw like 2 picks and then get a strip sack. And then after that, he's pretty much, lights out. And, it's Mike Evans, it's Chris Godwin, Chris Godwin constantly. Safety blanket to Cameron Brate. OJ Howard, you can't catch, so I'm not throwing to you. So he did catch in that Astros game though, or was it the Tampa Bay Rays game? Yeah. He did make that catch there.
How wrong was the entire fantasy world on OJ Howard this year?
Everyone but me. And I'm sure like a select few shows that weren't, but I was telling people, no, I'm not going to get OJ Howard. I'm not sold.
So I had my top 4. I was wrong on the 4th one. Anyway, but I had OJ as number 5, but I had my break at number 4. Like everyone below this, is a toss up, and he is part of that toss up, but he is my highest ranked one in that toss up. So
yeah, I'm sure you probably went like Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz, or like Kelsey, Ertz, Kittle.
Yeah, and my number 4 was Vance McDonald.
McDonald. See, I like that. My number 4 was Mark Andrews.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shout to stepmom Lauren for that one. I read her article and I was like, yeah, I like this. I can agree with this take. And then I watched the tape and I was like, yeah, I really like this.
It's funny you say that because I read the same article but I had already did my rankings by then, and I was like, well, I'm not adjusting nothing right now. I already got this set. And I'm like, but I'm like, she's, I like this. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that dude.
Yeah, I did mine me and my co-host Tyler, we did ours, and like when I read her stuff, actually she came on the show, and then I went back and I read it, and then I went back and studied the film to kind of see what she was talking about, with the Vance McDonald's, the Mark Andrews. She even had Reed mention that article, who's irrelevant now. And these are all sleeper tight ends, and I was like, you know what? I see what she's saying. I see where she's getting off about saying McDonald and Andrews being top guys. McDonald came out at the beginning of the year; he was hot. Andrew's hot. So, I mean, guys, just to validate, pay attention to these independent analysts. I know there's a lot of really big, awesome shows out there. Pay attention to these independent guys because we're going to take things a little bit more serious and a little bit more passionately to give you guys the best advice to win that cash.
I feel like we got more pride invested in it. You know what I mean? Like they'll have a wrong, when they're wrong about something, they move on. They're like, whatever, I could be wrong. I'm, my pay, I still get paid.
Exactly.
If we're wrong, you're going to stop listening to us. So we got to make sure you listen.
Yeah, we got to be on. What we got next, brother? Or what are you thinking about Trubisky and Winston?
Oh, no, I'm right on board with you. I cannot. I have never been on board with Trubisky. I just adamantly do not like him. I think Winston, sometimes he is hot garbage, but sometimes he performs. And out of the two of them, I'm taking Winston every time in that, because there's a chance that he gets, 3 touchdowns. Trubisky doesn't have that chance.
No. Matt Nagy has lost half of his playbook, literally. So, I mean,
do you believe Matt Nagy is an idiot?
Yes, I do. The fact that Trey Burton is completely obsolete out of the game script as a whole, that's at least about 30% of your playbook right there that you had last year that's now no longer there.
And it seems like he cannot multitask. Like he can't throw the ball and run the ball. It's one or the other.
Exactly. And for me, that's a problem from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, you got to keep things basically even. I mean, it's a passing league, so you're going to pass more than run. But yeah. But anyway, moving on. We got Jordan Howard, and Marlon Mack. Now, this one I think is really hard because Jordan Howard is a touchdown machine. Me and Perry have been talking about, he's LeGarrette Blount from, years past. But Marlon Mack is the back for Indianapolis. So this one's super hard for me just because Howard has been outscoring him with touchdowns, but those are super hard to predict. But he has been doing it the past few weeks.
Yeah.
But it did seem like there was a little bit more of a shift to Miles Sanders lately.
Exactly. And that's what scares me here. And which is why I have to tell people to go with the security of a Marlon Mack in this scenario. Now, if you do not have, Marlon Mack, then yes, you're going to start Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard has been doing some amazing things, especially within the last 3 to 4 weeks. But like you did just mention, it's becoming a Miles Sanders backfield slowly but surely.
Yeah.
That scares me. I don't know what it is with NFL coaches, why they don't feel like Jordan Howard can, carry a workload and be a 3-down back. Maybe his size, maybe his build, speed, maybe something that I'm missing on film. But I feel like the guy could really do the job if he was in the right system, the right team. And I think he wants that job. But we gotta go with security here. And I feel like Marlon Mack provides you that security. They're playing against the Steelers though, so be careful with Marlon Mack because the Steelers do force turnovers. Their turnover ratio is 10 this year.
Yeah, and that's an amazing turnover ratio. And with that being said too, with Howard, like the Bears seem to think the same thing when they had him. And so I agree with you. Me and Perry just started doing our podcast in the last year, but in years past, me and him always talk fantasy, obviously.
Right.
And we've been discussing that for a few years. Like, Howard looks great. Like when you watch his film, I don't know what the problem is, why they're not just feeding him the ball. And then he gets traded to the Eagles and you're like, okay, he left that team that didn't like him, but then the Eagles go out and get Miles Sanders. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of, so touchdowns are hard to predict. So I kind of discount those a little bit, probably more, sometimes I think more than I should. But, well, at least when I play the Jordan Howard owner more than I should. But I agree with you. Marlon Mack is the more productive back, the safer pick. And so I got to go with the safer pick unless I'm in a desperate situation.
Right.
If I'm playing someone and I look at our rosters, I'm like, man, they got me outmatched. Then I'm putting in Howard.
Both of these backs are going against tough matchups. Howard against the Bears. And like I mentioned, the Colts, they got to face the Steelers. So Marlon Mack against the Steelers. It's going to come down to who do you feel in your mind and in your heart and in your stomach that at the end of the game is going to give you those garbage time points. Let's face it, running backs are they're there in that fourth quarter to get handed off the ball and run the rock. And a lot of times that fourth quarter is where your running back is getting you a good portion of points because they're just running and running and running.
Especially if that team is winning.
Exactly, especially if they're winning. So you also got to look at that. Okay, who's really going to be winning? Who's going to have the bigger upside, the bigger point total? And I think that the Colts can do that a little bit better than the Eagles against the Bears defense.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with that. All right, next we got, this one hurts, Sony Michel and Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, Le'Veon Bell.
Okay, so this one hurts me because in one of our leagues, me and Perry's main league, it's a super small league. There's 8 teams. And so I was the Sony and Le'Veon Bell owner. And like week 3 or 4, I actually dropped Sony Michel because I couldn't trade him to anyone, and I needed to pick up another player.
Yeah.
So I actually dropped him, and Perry picked him up. So it's been killing me inside. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you with Le'Veon Bell. Sony Michel's another one of those that just seems to find the end zone lately. I think they handed them the ball 2 times on the 1 yard line, and that was shocking to me with Tom Brady's infamous quarterback sneak for a yard.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, the touchdowns there, I expect touchdown regression from Sony. Le'Veon is the only show in the on the field there.
Yeah, he's RB7 at this given moment. So I'm rocking with the higher ranked guy.
Yeah. I think last week he was kind of disappointing, but I expect him to continue. I mean, Sam Darnold was dealing with ghosts, so
yeah.
So next we got
Jacksonville trolled him because of that. That was great.
Yeah, that was amazing. Twice they got the mascot and they played the Ghostbusters theme. I love that.
So great.
All right, so we got Kenyan. Oh shit! Well, this one's gonna be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Kenyan Drake and Hyde. Obviously, you guys can't start Kenyan Drake. Do you think Hyde will outperform that though?
So they're playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Calais Campbell's on that front. Doesn't matter how much that guy ages. He's forever out there on the field playing like a grown man. And which is what you want from your defensive front. I think the Jaguars they line up in a 4-3, so I believe. Which makes it a little bit harder for Hyde to make it in between the tackles.
I gotta say, I really appreciate your football knowledge. Not just like your standard looking at statistics and doing analysis of the statistics, because a computer can do that. But like actual football knowledge on defenses, I was really getting a kick out of that during the live stream as well.
Yeah, you're like, because I'm sure you're probably watching the game. You're like, wow, this dude really knows. Like, he can really call what the play is.
Yeah, when the safety, I forgot what play it was, but the safety had dropped back, and then it just left the slant wide open and they nailed it. And you called it right before, and I was thinking, I was like yelling at the TV, like it's open. Like, oh god, yeah, that was great. But yeah.
I try and get my Tony Romo on, but no, I mean, I think that it's going to be a little bit harder for Hyde to make it in between the tackles, given that defensive scheme that he's going to be going up against. I am not a Kenyan Drake truther. I am not going to start now, even despite what I saw on Thursday Night Football on my channel. We call it Thursday Night Football. Cheers to you, my friend. With it being said, in tradition of this being Halloween and this being the end of Rumtober and Thursday Night Football, I am going to go with Hyde irregardless, just because he is so much more dependable than that of Kenyan Drake on record.
I love it. And so, man, if I had to choose one for this week, I don't think that Carlos Hyde is going to outperform what Kenyan Drake did today. But if I had to choose one going forward, I'm going with Carlos Hyde. I don't expect that to continue from Kenyan Drake. And as those other running backs get healthy, you're going to watch him just drop carries every game.
There is a Kenyan Drake truther right now somewhere, somehow eating his heart out while watching this show. Like, I can't believe they just said that off of that one small sample size. And yes, we did just say that. No, we love you though.
But the problem with Kenyan Drake is right now all the truthers are going off that same small sample size to talk him up.
Exactly.
Like, you need a bigger sample size. And I mean, are you going to tell me that when DJ's healthy, that Kenyan Drake is going to get more carries than him?
Yeah.
When Chase Edmunds is healthy, that he's not going to get some of those carries? Like, he's going to. Like, he's going to lose those carries. It's not going to be his sole backfield. Like, that's just ridiculous to think. And Carlos Hyde has been showing that, he won that job in Houston. So
yeah, I'm 100% with you. We gotta us as analysts, for you guys, watching and listening. It's important for us to provide you the truth and provide you the facts, and that's exactly what I feel that my colleague Justin just did there, was let you guys know someone earned a job. They weren't traded to come in and facilitate. We're not going to start a facilitator over someone that has earned the right to be there.
Absolutely. Oh, man, I just looked at the time. I'm like, man, I love this dialogue. We're probably not going to get through everything on the list, and that's fine. We'll do some clock management here and cut a couple of things off. All right. So we got Marvin Jones and Terry McLaurin.
Marvin Jones, Mr. 2 weeks ago, had 4 touchdowns in a single game.
Now, I'm going to have to ask you to take that sweater off.
I can't. This is everything. No, I mean, I cannot go with Terry McLaurin just for the simple fact that we are going up against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
Dwayne
it's a great
defense. Exactly. Dwayne Haskins is going to be our quarterback. I don't trust – I have never trust rookies underneath center, and people are probably going to be like, but you just interviewed 40 of the top rookies in this year's past draft. And my answer to you is, so what? This is analysis. I got to be truthful with you. And being truthful with you, Dwayne Haskins is still a rookie. He's got a long, long way to go. So we are going with Marvin Jones, despite Terry McLaurin and Dwayne Haskins having that college chemistry together. Just hasn't developed in the NFL yet.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you based on, like you said, the defense he's going against, the new quarterback play. That's all going to tie into it, and it makes them not a safe play. Sure, there's a chance he could, outperform him. There's always that chance because it's football. But the safer play is Marvin Jones in that case. Man, I really should have put a little bit more thought into this because the next one is also one of players Thursday night. Emmanuel Sanders and DK Metcalf. Let's just say going forward for the season.
I cannot believe, you ever have that friend that's like a frenemy? It's like you guys are friends, but you guys disagree on stuff.
Absolutely.
Well,
#Joel
I have one of those.
Brenner.
See, there you go. See, you got one. Mine is a friend in the industry. Shout out to Adam Rank. Adam is not going to like that I'm about to say this because he just got beat by this player. Normally, I would tell you guys DK. Emmanuel Sanders is looking pretty good these last 2 weeks in a 49ers uniform. And I'm going to tell you to go ahead and buy low. With this particular question, with this particular take, you are A-okay with either one of these guys. They are evenly matched. They're going to give you even points from here on out to your playoff stretch.
Yeah, I don't think either one's a bad choice.
Yeah. But, I mean, I am partial towards Emmanuel Sanders, especially now that he is in your team's uniform and he is looking a whole hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
He's even making Jimmy G look better.
Oh, I know. So I could tell you before this Thursday night game, my call on this was DK Metcalf. I think he's going to become the number 1 wide receiver in the coming weeks in Seattle. He improves every week he's on that field, and he's got Russell Wilson throwing him the ball, so that's always a plus. And Jimmy G hasn't been that great of a pass thrower this season, and no wide receiver has really been that great in San Francisco for fantasy purposes. But after the game tonight and the game last week, watching Emmanuel Sanders, I agree with you. I wasn't sold after last week because it was, a small sample size.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously 2 weeks isn't a much larger sample size, but it's twice as big.
Yep. In fantasy football, that counts.
Yeah. When you got a 16-week long season, that's, an eighth of the week, according to my math, or eighth of the season.
Yeah, it's 7 receptions tonight on Thursday Night Football, 112 yards and a TD. I like the guy. So he showed me flashes of him back in that black and yellow.
Yeah, he looked good. He's been open. Jimmy missed him on a few passes as well.
Yes.
So I mean, you could see a lot more of that going forward. So I think that's a great player going. Both of them are great players going forward. Grab both of them. Get both if you can.
There we go. I like it.
All right, DJ Moore or Tyrell Williams? I feel like this one's a lot harder.
It is, because Tyrell Williams has missed a few games this year, but every single game that he has played in, he has had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Irregardless, hands down. So there's a stat for you guys out there in fantasy land that maybe you're like, well, I mean, I love touchdowns. But me, I am a little bit different, so I'm going to sway a little bit differently on this take because I haven't had Tyrell Williams on my lineup, so I don't know how that affects my lineups personally. I know what I see on other people's, and I know what I see when I have DJ Moore. Maybe there was something in that speech that Steve Smith gave DJ Moore that, hey, you go out there, you give me 2 fantasy points on Sunday, and he said, I'm going to smack this out of you. Okay? Keep it family friendly for you, like I said. And I think that when we all saw that clip at the beginning of the season, of course, we were all sharing it on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, and we were laughing. But I think that clicked when I met Steve Smith. When that dude talks, you listen.
Yeah.
Because he talks so aggressive. Yeah. Even if he's being friendly.
Steve Smith doesn't do anything soft.
No. So I think that clicked. And he's proven it. I am going to go with DJ Moore. Also, because of what I see on film. I love the way that Carolina can, one, just keep going to Christian McCaffrey, hand the ball off, but then they'll open it up and they'll be like, there's Curtis Samuel, there's DJ Moore, now back to run the ball. I'm going with DJ Moore.
I love it, but this time I got to disagree with you on this one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. We can't agree on all of them.
Nope.
So I'm going with Williams because, like you said, he has that one touchdown. I try not to account for that, but it's been so consistent. And then the fact that he's the number one wide receiver there. I mean, number one wide receiver, not pass catcher, because Waller's got that role. But he's been consistent. Like you can't discount it. Like when he's on the field. The injury risk is the only thing that comes into play for me. DJ Moore, it's their team is inconsistent to me. It's not just him. I think he's a great wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey, if I have him, he's a must start. But every other player on their team seems to be inconsistent. Right.
I mean, DJ Moore, you're likely not starting him every week. I'm gonna be honest. I have not done that. In the one league out of my 10 leagues that I do have a share of DJ Moore, I've never started him every week. So I mean, you're right there.
Okay. So we are running a little bit long, so I'm gonna cut this down a couple players for this. So I wanted to get into some takes for people for fantasy playoffs. That rum's starting to kick in.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta watch my mouth now. Yeah, so let's cut it down to like 3 players each, and some players that you want to target for fantasy, either free agents or trade for.
Awesome.
You go ahead and kick it off as the guest.
Cool. So I'm gonna go by position. I'm gonna do one per position. So one likely free agent, that you could go out there and get at quarterback. We got to talk about Minshew Mania, baby. We got to talk about Minshew Mania. Go out there and get Gardner Minshew. If he's available to you and available for you, there's absolutely no reason why this guy isn't rostered. If you're in a 2-quarterback league, you definitely need this kid. But I'm going to go ahead and say Gardner Minshew at the quarterback position, at the running back position. For the most part, the depth is cleared up here, but we don't know the status of Aaron Jones or how he's going to function throughout the whole season. Maybe Jamal Williams is the guy that you look at. The greatest friend to you in fantasy football, especially if you're not doing so well at this time of year, is your enemy's handcuff. If you can go out there and get your enemy's handcuff, go ahead and go get it, because that way, whenever they step into place, you can play them. Latavius Murray's another guy that's in that conversation, and Royce Freeman are another guys that are in that handcuff for your enemy situation. And like I said, all those guys are going to be available. And then at wide receiver, Heading into the playoffs, I actually maybe have two here, but it's going to be Christian Kirk or Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I refer to these two as fantasy football stepchild because they constantly get picked up and then dropped, picked up and then dropped. I've never seen players get picked up more and then dropped than these two.
If you're in my league, you'll see that with Chris Herndon.
Oh, well, yeah. Given Chris Herndon's situation, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's those are guys that I say that you guys should definitely, absolutely, positively go out there and get.
Real quick before I get into mine, are you worried about Foles coming back and taking the job though from Minshew?
Me personally, no. We're actually going to be talking about this tomorrow on RumBoyz After Dark.
Okay, I don't want to ruin it too much for you.
No, you're fine. If you want, I was actually going to extend the offer to you here on your show. If you want to come on tomorrow night, we start at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come on,
yeah, I would. Let me. I just had to see. Almost messed up there. I would love to, but I have movie tickets with my wife.
Hey, I understand that. Married life, happy wife is a great life. Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm actually going to be discussing this tomorrow, and I feel that Minshew he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Yes, Foles has a statue outside of Philadelphia. He's won a Super Bowl, yada, yada, yada. At best, Foles is still a backup. You did that in a backup scenario where Carson Wentz had already won X amount of games, and all you had to do was win games X amount.
Yeah. Like when I started hearing reports that he might, that was shocking to me. I'm like, why would they even think that with Minshew coming in and doing what he's doing? Like, it's not like Minshew has lost the job and he's the future of your franchise.
Exactly. It's not like a Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater situation where Drew Brees is literally that much better to where Drew Brees can walk in and be like, young man, give me that ball. Yeah. Thanks for holding it down. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Minshew can literally be like, excuse you, my nickname is Beowulf. You sit down.
Right.
I get that you have a Super Bowl, but with all due respect, I got this here.
You collect that paycheck and sit down.
Exactly. So I feel that way,
Got you. All right. So I got my QB as Sam Darnold.
Hot take.
Yeah. So Halloween's over. The ghosts are gone. So, Sam Darnold's safe to go out on that field. Now, the reason why I say Sam Darnold, it's not so much because I think Sam Darnold all of a sudden is amazing, but the next 6 weeks, he plays the Dolphins twice.
Yeah.
He plays the Redskins, no offense. He plays the Bengals, and he plays the Giants and Raiders. Like, those are some horrible defenses.
Yeah.
I think that you're not going to regret picking him up and starting him for those 6 weeks, especially if you're hurting at quarterback. Like, that's something that could win you a championship if that's your weak spot on your team.
Yeah, I agree. You could probably put Josh Allen in that same conversation because he has an easy schedule. So, yeah, you're 100% correct.
Yeah, I love Josh Allen, too. And then... So my running back is the exact same situation. This is a trade target, I think, because he has had a couple of down weeks, and that's Le'Veon Bell. So I'm telling you, go try and trade for Le'Veon Bell coming off of those bad weeks because he has those exact same matchups. He's gonna return, and he, like you said, he's the number 7 running back on those bad matchups. So he's gonna move up that list in these next 6 weeks, and if you could get him now for under that value, then that's amazing. Like, you go get that.
I'm right there with that.
Nice. And then my last one is Mike Williams.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to hear this one.
Right, and this has to do with Keenan Allen partially as well. Keenan Allen, he's been hurt. It's been nagging, and Mike Williams without him there, he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver. I expect them to throw the ball a lot, especially if they keep leaning on Melvin Gordon to just run up the middle, because that's not working. So they're going to be playing from behind and have to throw the ball. Hold on, let me look at these notes real quick. He's totaled 507 air yards over the last 4 weeks. That's number 1 in the NFL over the last 4 weeks. He's going to find that end zone. So That's something I always look for when I'm looking at players, is lots of yards without touchdowns, because those touchdowns come. It's just a matter of time. If they're putting up those numbers, they're gonna find the end zone. So those are like things I try and target with players. He's right behind, like stats wise for fantasies, right behind Stephon Diggs, Julio Jones, Julian Edelman, and Mike Evans. Like those are the players right in front of him. And like you said, that name value, he doesn't have it. So you could go get him for cheap.
You really could. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the perfect type of player to target. A no-name player putting out stats like you're talking about with Sutton. He doesn't have that name value, but you could get him for cheap.
Yep, that's what I did with Auden Tate for a wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. I watched this kid on film 3 times, and I was like, yeah, that's a real wide receiver in the NFL. You know, so I agree with the Mike Williams take. You know, these are people. There are people out there that with no names that if you just dig deep and if you look a little bit and you pay attention on your screen and you do look at the box score, they could probably come out there and really do some things for you. Like you said, I think you had brought in a couple of next gen stats with that too, with the yards and so on and so forth. Eventually, he's going to find the touchdown. And I love that approach. Guys, feel free to peek into next gen, peek into air yards, stuff like that. It may tell you something behind the story that the film didn't tell you.
Yeah, and when you just look at overall fantasy stats, like it's not going to do him justice, because without a touchdown in there, those players he's right behind, you throw a touchdown on there, and all of a sudden he's in the next echelon up. So, I mean, that touchdown's going to come. And then you're going to be missing out on him at that point, because now no one's going to let him go because he's going to look like a rock star.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I like it.
Yeah, that's all. That's everything I got for today's show, man. I really appreciate you guys coming on, and you guys helping us out with everything. And I hope we can make it on to your show. I can't do it tomorrow, but we got to schedule something. I'd love to come on. And I'll make sure I share your guys' podcast on my show as well. So I'm gonna throw up your all your information up here on the screen. So
most certainly. Let me just take a second to thank all the Clock Management family for showing the RumBoyz Fantasy Network some love. I can promise you, I know that Justin used the word hope. I am not a big person on the words hope, can't, I believe so. I promise you guys, we will get the Clock Management crew on our show for you guys as well.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, man. And we'll see all of you on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Dilly. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for having me.